Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Hollow Dogs, and today I will be explaining something that I believe to be true that many in the COD community will probably disagree with. I'll be making a case as to why Modern Warfare is one of the best installments in the franchise to date. Before we begin, if you enjoy the video, drop a like and subscribe. This channel is pretty new and would be greatly appreciated. With that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so many people are under the impression that Modern Warfare is a flawed and irredeemable game. I would like to argue that there are three reasons as to why this game is the best. And reason number one would be skill-based matchmaking. Many would like to point out that this system they implemented is why it's such a bad game in the first place. When the game first came out, I thought this was a huge mistake. However, as time went on, I thought to myself, is it really as bad as everyone's saying? When looking at it, it seems as though it might be beneficial to the games, actually. This game in particular is one of the fastest and technically sound COD games we have seen. More on that later, though. But it is something to say, as there are no new wacky or gimmicky mechanics such as jetpacks or like wall running. It's just simple slide mechanics and tactical sprints that they really added to it, and those things aren't really new. But with this and the low time to kill in the games, it makes the game so fast-paced and so quick, as you guys already know. And on top of that, you have some of the most overpowered weapons in Call of Duty franchise history, such as the 725, MP5, and MP7, and it makes for a very fast and hyper-competitive game. The first thing skill-based matchmaking does is increase this competitive nature of the game, where games have much more parity. Essentially, by introducing skill-based matchmaking, the game is able to be enjoyed by like-minded and similarly skilled players. While it might be fun going around and gunning at ease with bot lobbies, dropping nukes left and right, and torching kids who are nowhere near in skill level, skill-based matchmaking allows for these matches to hold much more validity and importance, especially in more competitive and serious game modes like Search and Destroy. While it may be a step away from the original CODs, it has been a well-needed inclusion to the player base, allowing for people to enjoy victories more and becoming more involved in the game, knowing they are going up against similarly skilled players. Another thing skill-based matchmaking does is allow for a much more accurate portrayal of your skill level. This might seem a little counterintuitive at first, but let me explain. It has never been such that KD has represented anything but how good you are against the lower level players. These players are those who play casually and those who are considered noobs. KD doesn't account for how well you played against people of equal or higher skill level, which makes up a smaller portion of players. With skill-based matchmaking, you finally are able to test your true skill level against people who are just as good as you, if not better. If anyone is familiar with Super Mario Maker 2, there is a versus mode that allows for ranking up and down based on a win or a loss. The ranks go from D to S+. As you progress through each letter rank, it is more difficult to gain points and progress, and you are put up against only those who are near you in rank. I mean, this makes sense, because as your progress furthers along, the game wants to continually test how good you are and to see if you have what it takes to move up each rank. If they didn't include skill-based matchmaking, it would lead to people easily ranking up and taking away from the fun and true accomplishment someone gets from ranking up. I think the same can be said about COD, honestly. While yes, people who are very good at the game are not getting as high KDs as they did in previous CODs, but it allows for people to show how good they are against players of their similar skill level, creating much more enjoyment, in my opinion, from doing well and much more motivation to do better. The second reason as to why this game is so great, again, this is my opinion, but I think it is because of the mechanics. I have never played a COD so smooth and so quick as this one. Going from this to Cold War was such a bummer for me, as Cold War felt so flat and linear, as though gunfights had devolved back to CODs of old. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it needed a little something more than what Cold War was offering. Cold War allowed for a much lower quality of movement, and it made the overall feel of the game much less inclined towards run and gun players. With Modern Warfare, however, it was a complete 180. In this game, the mechanics were so much smoother, the look of the game much cleaner, and the mechanics much more realistic without losing the arcadey feel that CODs usually have. This delicate balance was something that Modern Warfare was able to achieve, in my opinion, perfectly. Not only did they create a game where weapons responded so realistically, yet fairly, they were able to do so without introducing some futuristic or overpowered movement mechanic. The movement in Modern Warfare allows for one to be able to get creative with the way they want to play. Are you into run and gun? Good, because the mechanics allowed for the player to do such things as bunny hops and slides with ease, as to be able to effectively kill campers who have had such a great advantage over run and gun players in the past. I like to imagine the game's mechanics as a blank canvas with all the colors of paint and brushes you could possibly imagine. It is simply up to you to decide what you want to do with it. Run and gun play is a completely viable option for advanced players, and taking your time and checking corners is as well, as the movement and the feel of the game made it easy to mount walls and gain advantage over run and gunners. While yes, the maps and shotguns encouraged camping like never before, not all maps were like that. Maps like Vacant, Crash, Ramaza, Gunrunner, and others helped to create a very fair playing field for people to play many different playstyles, none of which were any more overpowered than the rest, in my opinion. For the third and final point of why Modern Warfare is so great is due to its gun selection. I know. It probably sounds nuts for someone to even say that, considering the weapons seem so unbalanced and just crazy uber. It's a touchy subject for many, as people think that there are just so many downright OP guns in the game. I mean, such examples as the 725, MP5, MP7, and the list goes on and on. But I would argue that making overpowered guns like this actually helps the game and the feel of it. Now follow along with me. We have seen games in the past that are very well balanced and the guns have very little difference from each other. But I would argue that allowing overpowered guns actually makes the game feel better and makes the players feel more powerful. While I don't want to get too deep into psychology here, I do think that it is worth pointing out that people love using OP guns, no matter which COD it is. Whether it be the dual-wield shotguns or ACR in Modern Warfare 2, or the MP7 in Modern Warfare 3, or the FAMAS in Black Ops 1, or the many, many others. People loved playing with them. Why is that? Because it made them feel powerful. When a player feels like they are shooting just some average weapon, they feel uninspired and feel that the gun choice they make doesn't really matter. When games do this, they foster a lack of wanting to play with certain weapons, creating a lack of specialization. In Modern Warfare, guns like the MP5 and MP7, while very strong, are two weapons with subtle nuances to them. The MP7, at least for me, is something very little to no recoil and a very fast fire rate, but the MP5 obviously beats it with damage. The M4A1 and the FAL are also two very different weapons with very good stats, but they function in two different ways, as the M4 is a fully automatic and the FAL is a semi-automatic. To bring up shotguns, the 725 and other shotguns have different attachments and ammunition such as Dragon's Breath. You got slug rounds, you got different barrels you can use, allowing for a whole slew of specialization. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that overpowered weapons help to create specialization and what kind of playstyle you like. While this does occur in balanced games, it does not create it nearly to the extent that Modern Warfare does. Never have we seen 2 or 3 guns in each class be able to dominate and create different playstyles as with Modern Warfare. Even with the sniper rifles, there is specialization. Do you want to quickscope guys in under 150 milliseconds? Use a marksman rifle. It has a quicker ADS speed than the sniper rifles, but lacks the consistent killing power. And I mean, obviously, on the other side of the coin, if you want a more consistent kill at the cost of ADS, use a sniper. We see that specialization is something key to create niches, which is what players love. All in all, I think that Modern Warfare is a great game and one that we will look back on with grace and say, do you know what? That game was actually pretty good. I think people got on board with the negativity at launch and weren't really able to see the great qualities this game had. Again, this is my personal opinion, but I want to know, what's your guys' favorite COD game? Leave a comment. And anyways, that's it for this video. If you want to see me do more COD related content or tackle other issues in different gaming franchises, or just want to see me play COD, leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.